Spoiler alert for episode 8 of Traitors Canada and for episode 12 of Survivor 49.
Guys, it's a really sad day here at Reality Rangers. We're kind of in mourning right now, and I don't know what to do with myself. I'm Andrew Hill.
And I'm Malik Fortier.
And unfortunately, our queen...
Our traitor queen.
She's been eliminated, I can say it, because we have our spoiler warning.
Right. Venus Vafa from Survivor 46 fame, the recruited traitor this season who's been running laps around these faithfuls, finally faltered and got some heat. Too much heat.
She was so close.
She was right there.
Even though she still had a lot of heat on her, I think if she made it past this episode, she's so good at this, and I'm so disappointed.
I think there were some faithfuls she could have, swayed, and I saw a path for it to the end.
She had Dom. She had
Lisette.
She could have had Hollywood. Well, we can't spoil everything now. We gotta go play by play.
Yeah. Episode 8 started with a crazy rewind moment when we find out who ended up with the cursed shield. And yes, somebody did end up with the cursed shield.
Yes, it was very confusing last episode, and I think it was made even more confusing based on everything we learned during this breakfast. But the first thing we discover is that Venus, in all of this chaos, didn't give the shield back to her partner, but instead gave the regular shield to Dom, as a way to, make the traitors think that they were safe and Dom was able to be murdered. It's a whole thing.
And some really only a traitor would do that because most faithfuls wouldn't want to give up their shield, but she could frame it as a faithful move.
I can see the logic as people would already think all of them are safe because no one would know who has the shield. So if you give the shield to another faithful, then it kind of makes another person safe. Especially
with a survivor background, that's kind of like a survivor move of I'm giving this person the idol because I don't think I'm going to get the votes. That's the kind of
It was very roundabout in that way, but I think it was it did make a lot of sense. We then learn, though, because Dom had a shield already, he just gave that shield to Hollywood.
Yeah, and then in terms of the curse shield, we head over to our other traitor, Coco, who's sitting on a bad boy piece of information, a murderous little token that is the cursed shield, and she's not really feeling the best about it. She doesn't want to murder in plain sight,
She's so stressed out.
She has a change of heart, and she's like, okay, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it now. Mm-hmm. And Natalie, who we didn't really see at all during this whole thing last episode, this whole fiasco, comes out of nowhere and talks to Coco, and Coco's like, oh, I've got an idea, eureka moment. She's like, let me give this to Natalie, because Natalie would not tell anyone. She's a strategic player, so she would keep the fact that she had a shield to herself, right?
Right. Natalie had a good head on her shoulders, but she never had, it was never explicitly shown just because she never had any agency.
Right.
So we know that this is going to be a good play because she's just going to, keep it under wraps. She's so excited. She's like, thank you, Coco. This is the best day of my life. I'm so happy. And then all her world comes crashing down.
She's like, no. My life was not saved. It was, in fact, ended. Yeah. Natalie was the faithful that was murdered this episode in such devastating fashion. I would be so... Not to quote Liz again, but I would be pissed. I'd be so pissed if that happened to me. And so Natalie goes, and we have a breakfast, and it's kind of like a little bit of a catty breakfast at times.
It's very tension-filled.
People taking jabs at each other. Notably, I think it was Venus and Shala or Meredith?
I believe it was Meredith.
Meredith was, just like she was on Jericho's neck last episode, she's on Venus' neck about the shield. She's like, well, why would you give it to somebody? That doesn't seem like something a faithful would do. And she's putting some pressure on Venus, but I think Venus does a decent job of defending herself and that move that she made.
Yeah, Venus, I think, was pretty good here. There was a lot of heat, so I think everyone was kind of stressed out and, like, worried about what was going to happen through this breakfast or whatever. But it didn't seem like anyone did anything, like, actively to hinder their game. It wasn't like if someone put heat on another person, that person just crumbled. It usually, like, everyone's very iron-faced at this point.
Yeah. Everyone is under the impression that these shields really mattered.
Yes.
And that the murder was done in a normal fashion. So some people's takeaway, specifically Kara, is that this was a murder for somebody who was quiet, and the traitors are going after all the quiet people. I mean, Natalie was, I guess, quiet. I feel like we never saw her lead a roundtable charge. But I don't think that was the motivation for killing her. I think it was just a kill of convenience.
Yeah, because, like, if you're going to murder in plain sight, you're not going to, like, try and find the optimal strategy. You don't have time. You don't have the space to talk about it. You just kind of have to find whatever is most convenient in that moment that hopefully won't blow up in your face.
The most inconspicuous way to do it. So yeah. Natalie, I think, was the best choice there. And we see Sarah Nicole bring up this conversation she had with Natalie before she died. Apparently, allegedly, she said some names to Sarah Nicole. Hollywood is not having it. He doesn't have a lot of stuff, and especially he's not having this. He's saying, why is Sarah Nicole bringing up all these dead faithful conversations like some bargaining chip when nobody can verify this, right?
Yeah, it's really funny, and it's a consistent through line through the episode where everyone's like, why does she keep bringing up these faithfuls' names, saying like, oh, before they left, they told me that this name, like, and then she doesn't say who the name is. Like, it's so cagey. It doesn't make sense, and it make, like, from Jade's perspective, I think it makes sense to, like, put suspicion on that. That's really confusing. That just sounds like you're trying to make yourself sound more, like, trustworthy than you are.
Yeah, and I know you're supposed to look at everybody's name as a faithful, but I feel like this was the first time Sarah Nicole got brought up, like, by anyone in a confessional or roundtable.
Yeah. I think we've seen, like, a lot of talk about her as a faithful that they need to get out because she's powerful.
Like a threat, yeah.
Yeah. They haven't talked about her being a traitor, which is now a very interesting thing because I could see her being banished at some point.
Right. If Hollywood is against her, I feel like Hollywood has a lot of sway, and I think he can be the make or break. If especially in, like, late game, like if it's a fire of truth kind of thing, like,
yeah,
I don't know. So Venus has, as we know, a great game sense. She knows and is aware of the stuff happening around her. So she's sure that Shala is going to come after her. And so she tries to nip that in the bud and have this kind of group conversation and explain more in depth why she gave her shield to Dom. And she said something along the lines of, men are dropping like flies here. There's 3 men. There was 3 men left and 7 she/theys or she/theys. And I mean, it's kind of like a shoddy, like, explanation,
yeah.
But I don't know. I think she was doing well. She went to the Netta school of self-victimizing because she kind of started to cry a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think those tears were effective. Like, I think they didn't look like crocodile tears, even though we know they were.
I think overall, she seemed to be doing relatively well in this area. Like, she had her conversation with Dom and Hollywood where she kind of, like, fully got suspicion off of her from them for a brief moment. And I think she doesn't do the best job with Shala. Obviously, I think everyone, including Venus, knows it's going to come back up, like, probably at the banishment.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to address that so it's not like something that lingers throughout the day and permeates all the conversations.
Yeah. If she's going to talk about it, you want it to be last minute so that people are, like, surprised. They don't want to go with it, that kind of vibe.
Yeah. After these few conversations, we see Karine back in the daylight. She's not a vampire. And we see her ask another, question, kind of feeling the vibe of the faithfuls and traitors, and asks, okay, y'all, who are the 3 most influential people in the manor?
Yes.
And the group comes up with Kara, Hollywood, and Dom. What do we think of these choices?
I think Hollywood felt like the obvious choice for me.
For sure.
I don't know, in my opinion, if I would want to choose the 3 most influential people, because that sounds like you're setting yourself up to have something wrong, like go wrong.
Right.
I don't know about Dom. That feels like if they were thinking the same way that I'm thinking, then I would maybe also choose Dom because like he talks, but I don't know if he has that much influence.
I would say if it was who seems the most faithful, I would put Dom.
Yes, I
but
agree.
most influential, we don't really see that in the show. No shade to Dom.
And I think Kara as the third one is like an in-between point. Like
she is influential in the sense that like she spearheaded the Rhea banishment.
Yes.
So I get that.
And she is very calm and collected when she talks about the ideas and like facts that she has. So I can understand like why she would be chosen just based on the fact that she has so much like it feels like when you hear her talk like yeah, I would maybe be influenced by her, but I don't know if she talks enough to be influential.
I would say like, and this is a compliment, I would say she's about the same level as like Phaedra when it comes to like
Yes.
housewives in the Traitors. Like there's some people who have been housewives who, you know, are kind of duds on the Traitors, even if they won Dolores. But I think she does a good job of speaking up at the round table and trying to make an argument cohesive, even if it's not true, like, or right. Like, I think she's putting in that effort and she is thinking critically. So I would say I wouldn't be mad at that choice of deeming her influential.
Yeah. I think it's good that she doesn't have any other housewives with her because I feel like that, like, the way that they congregate in other seasons is kind of detrimental to their games. And it doesn't give them the chance to like be that kind of like factual analytical person.
Yeah.
But I do think if Kara was a traitor like Phaedra was, I think she could have done very well.
Yeah, I think so too. So these three influential players are geared up, they're suited up, they're hooked up, kind of kinky.
It gets kinkier.
It gets kinkier. Into this sort of real life sized hangman game, and basically you've got to guess the letters. You can't guess the word, but you've got to guess what letters make up their word. And just like in Hangman, if you get something wrong, you lose a point. And with every point lost, the hanging influential faithfuls get brought down a rung until if they get to the bottom, they get gagged at the round table.
That's crazy.
This is one of the best twists ever.
I genuinely think it's such a good idea. I hate that they called it gag.
Like, it's so
like
freaky. Like, okay, for what? Freaking for what?
After they were like strapped up, they get gagged.
I'm like, this,
and I'm gagged.
and I'm like, is this like, are we showing this on live TV? Like, what's the rating for this?
They kept saying it, and I kept thinking, are they actually going to like wrap something around
Literally.
her face? I was like, are they going to show that on live TV?
And yeah, I think Kara would have looked amazing in it because eventually Kara was our faithful gag.
Yes. The strategy behind this game is kind of just like, because you can't guess like what the word is, you kind of have to guess the letters in like the right order so that you can choose
who lives and who dies.
Who lives and who dies. You
well,
have
not
to,
dies, but who gets gagged.
Who you want. Like, it kind of like, if you choose it in the right order, you could get all three in theory.
But that's like impossible.
Right. It's really difficult because you don't know what the word is until like the halfway point. So like by the time they get to the halfway point, they have to decide, are they going to keep Kara, who is probably like who they want to be talking at the round table, versus if they keep Kara, the other two are going to be gagged. Otherwise, the two of them would be fine because their words were close enough where they could save both. And I was so confused why Meredith was so like, I think she was just so dead set on Venus at this point.
And I think it was
she was
also
going to find faults in everything, even though Venus was right.
Venus was objectively right. She was making the optimal move. I think it was 50% I want to, poke holes in Venus's game, and 50%, I think Kara's on my side. Let me keep her alive.
Yeah.
I'd rather Dom go down, which is like, why would you want two people to go down? That seems traitorous. I would have pushed on that more at the round table. It seems
Absolutely.
like Venus didn't really bring that up at the round table, but we'll get to that. So yeah, Hollywood and Dom are not gagged. that would have been fun to see, you know, Hollywood gagged. I think that would have been really, it would have been a game changer.
So much eye rolling we would have gotten.
Literally, I was talking to my mom when I was watching the episode. I'm like, I can just imagine
Yeah.
There's
their
listeners, you're not
expressions-
seeing my expression,
Yeah.
but like it's very Hollywood-esque.
Hollywood Jade would have, like, is already very expressive 10 times more because they can't say anything, so they have to be like, again, we can't show it.
But like
I mean,
Hollywood already can get people banished just based off of his expressions alone. Like the words are just extra words.
it's a
but like
death stare.
it's a death stare, and it works. So it would have been interesting to see him gagged. Dom, I don't think it would have made much. I mean, at this round table, yes.
At this one, yes.
But at most round tables, it wouldn't have made much of a difference.
I also think this is unrelated. I thought it was really funny how done Corinne was with everyone, and Jade in this challenge was like begging, like, "You look so beautiful, Corinne. Your hair is amazing. You're slaying those boots to like." And by the end, Corinne was so done with him, which was so funny. He was like, "No."
But
no.
this mission was one of my favorite. It's so simple, but it's so amazing, especially
It was
like
perfectly executed.
the way she was performing. She was like a sadistic Vanna White. Like she was kind of like, "Oh, is this letter
Yeah.
up? No, ding!" And it would just be like she's taunting them.
It was such a perfect challenge, and she kind of kept that vibe through the entire episode, though. Like she just, I think, had so much fun with it, where she kept going, and you see it at the round table later as well. She like cuts them off mid sentence, like it seemed like they barely got any time to talk, and she's like, "Time's up."
And so yeah, it's a heated rivalry between Meredith and Venus. And those are the two names that are seeming to be coming up at the round table this episode. We see a car ride. This car is full with like Venus's ops almost. It's like Hollywood is bringing up her name. Meredith is nodding. Coco is like,
Yeah.
And I think it was like Sarah Nicole as well was pushing Venus's name. So already it's not looking great for Venus.
Right. I honestly was surprised to see Hollywood against Venus because, like, again, we had that conversation earlier where Hollywood was saying, "I don't think Venus is a traitor," and was on her side with Dom. So, like, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it might have just been, like, the influence of the car ride being there made Hollywood kind of, like, rethink his mindset because he had so much time to debrief with them where they're going to influence him in one way.
Yeah.
So I think it wasn't he was influenced by them, more so that like he was going to go along with them, and that might have like made him jog his ideas of like maybe she could be a traitor.
Yeah, and so at the round table, I mean, it was Venus put up a fair fight. She did.
I mean, a very fair fight given what happens.
The vote count ends up as a tie.
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy? I think is this our first tie in this season?
Yeah, we barely ever get ties, just period, in Traitors. Like it
it's
never
very
happens.
rare, and it's rare that on the re-vote it stays a tie. Like in this case,
it was 5-5 tie, and then 6-2 at the end, because Lisette and Coco flipped.
and then Meredith and Venus couldn't vote. Yeah, such a sad sight. I mean, I loved Dom with his little outfit, his little Romeo bit that he was doing. It was really tragic, but it was like a Shakespearean tragedy.
Right. He truly got the Romeo experience. And I think it was also like kind of funny. He got like fully friend zoned and heartbroken like during this, and he was still defending her.
Yeah, because I mean, like she had to do that. Like she had to.
There was no like if she didn't, then it was just gonna make like that was kind of her only option.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like even though Venus was a traitor, I feel like in every showman's like across all social strategy games, I feel like the onus is always on the women to be like, no, we're not that close. Like I never see the guys saying, yeah, no, like we're not close. Like don't associate me with her. But no, Venus, like I think she did what she had to do, but like she was drawing dead after a certain point. Like the people who were voting with Meredith were more headstrong, and the people who were voting with Venus wavered a little. Like Coco, really, you can't blame her for not sticking her neck out.
I think you're kind of done for if you have a fellow traitor and they don't vote with. And they vote with you the first time, because if they vote with you the second time, that's going to make them look more suspicious.
Right.
But also, I feel like at some point it's going to wrap back around where, like, if you flip your vote, then it's going to make you look suspicious again. So
it's like, why did you
it's so
not
much
go with your
meta
gut?
game
Yeah.
where, like, would I even think that? I don't know.
I would. There's nothing wrong with voting to keep a traitor in the sense that you can, like, play it off as, I really didn't know. I was wrong. Like,
absolutely,
being
yeah.
wrong is quite a faithful thing to do.
But if it's only you and Dom who didn't flip your... Like, if Lisette was the one to flip their vote and you and Dom stuck with yours, then it's gonna just, like, stay... It's gonna make you look suspicious because Dom just kind of, like... He doesn't look like a traitor. So, like...
Yeah.
If you're sticking with your vote, then that's like, what are you doing? Why are
all
you
the
doing
eyes
that?
go to you, and it would be really sus if you let Lisette be more pro Meredith than you. Then some red flags are coming up because how is Lisette flipping her vote to save Meredith
Right.
and you're not?
Now I'm like, do they just like consider Jamal a non-factor then?
I think they
'Cause
just think Jamal is a bad faithful at this point.
I think so, because he didn't flip. He seemed very dead set. I think they see him as like so headstrong as a faithful that it wouldn't make sense for him to be a traitor because he's like so offbeat with everyone else and trying to do stuff that no one else wants to do.
I think they're just like hoping the traitors will murder him at one point, but like why would they? And then so they won't banish him because they're like, oh, there's bigger fish to fry. It's like he could end up in the fire of truth. I don't think he'll win that scenario, but like if nobody's going after him and he's just like voicing his opinions after a certain point, like he'll get to the end.
Yeah.
And at this round table, it's interesting because we see a lot of people coming after Dom and Venus's whatever showmance, flirtmance. But by a lot of people, I mean the two people with a secret relationship in the house,
Right.
Meredith and Shala, which is like, it's ironic, right? And Shala's trying to like explain to Venus how the game works when it seems like Venus already clearly understands that, and it's a little like hypocritical.
Yeah,
what Shala's saying, like, of course I would be acting like you are if I had a secret duo in the house, like, of course. So
Like,
it
doesn't make sense.
It was just a little much. I wasn't Team Shala at that round table. Of course, I'm biased because I was always Team Venus, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
they were saying like, oh, with all due respect, there was no respect there.
No. And like they won't know that there wasn't any respect until they watch the season.
Right.
Because it's like it feels kind of scummy just because you know it's so like it's secret, so you can just say whatever and be like totally like just against your own self.
Like,
but
I know
no one
those.
will know.
I know those two say like, "Oh, it's so hard not to call someone babe." Oh please,
Yeah.
oh please, like, oh my gosh, it's really not equivalent. I was thinking about this. Like, is it fair? As much as I was a fan of Kira last season, who secretly had Nick as her brother in the house, I'm like, is it fair to have these secret relationships in the game? It's not.
That has always been my biggest gripe with the Traitors twist so far. Oh, there's a few other bigger ones.
Yeah.
But like casting wise, I don't like the secret relationships unless everyone has one, because then that makes like, I think if everyone has one, then it's interesting. Like it has dynamics. If only two people have a dynamic with each other,
That puts them above the rest
right,
already.
like it puts them above the rest, and it's just not interesting to watch. They're only going for the shock reveal to like have that like clip-worthy moment.
But the thing is, they're not even showing these reveals on the TV show. They're showing it on their social media.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So after the round table, we had a few little moments. The first, like, wild thing, another Lisette and Meredith moment. Lisette is like saying like, I flipped my vote, I saved your game, which is already crazy enough. Lisette was the one to save Meredith,
Yeah.
but she's like, you owe me one.
But if you're Meredith and you know how Lisette is, I know you're in the heat of the
Yeah.
moment, so you're going to say
Both
what
of
you
them
think.
are-
But Meredith, just say sure.
Yeah, no, it's
Say
so,
sure. Why
it's so
say
dumb
no?
from both their perspectives, because then they both go to one other person and like vent them. Like Lisette is so upset talking to, I think, Sarah Nicole.
Yeah, something
and
like
then,
that.
And then it's like, you know, Meredith is talking to Shala or whatever, and like they're both saying like, what is the other person doing? And like they're both right because both of them are wrong.
Like, that's a constant, like, that's what it seems like it's been this arc with them. It's like they're both in a little bit of a way irrational, and they're like, if you know how the other person reacts, like, don't stop being yourself, but like, just filter what you say to them. You can talk shit about them behind their back, but just like, keep it cute face to face,
Right.
and like just take them out when you get the chance.
You don't have to hold any promises. It's not like you have to get a jury vote. You just have to get to
No.
the end.
So that's the thing. I think both of them are playing a little sloppily there.
Another thing that happened after the roundtable, we saw Sarah Nicole, who was talking to just kind of a group of people, and she kind of says, like, do we think, if there's still a traitor left in the game, which there has to be, do we think that they were with the original Venus vote and they flipped, or do we think that they were already voting Venus? And Sarah Nicole says this in front of the two people who flipped. She said it in front of Coco and Lisette. Lisette didn't really react, but Coco, like, she has to pull Coco aside and, like, talk to her, because, like, why would you say that?
Like, that's the kind of conversation you have with one or two people max, not in front of half the house.
I feel like she's being set up to be banished because, like, everything she's done this episode has felt like she's kind of, like, making herself look like a traitor.
Yeah, and even when she does vote this episode, she says, I don't know, it's between the two of you, like, I have no clue. And so she's, like, not trying to, like, put herself out there as, like, pro-Meredith or pro-Venus extremely. So it seems like she is playing the middle, and that seems like something a traitor would do. So I feel like I think Coco could frame her. If she Coco has proven to be, like, adept at the social part of the game, so I feel like she could find a way to get Sarah Nicole banished.
Oh, for sure. But I think for right now, it doesn't seem like too big a priority. It just seems like it's being set up as, like, a kind of not a fall from grace, but just kind of, like, really stepping down from where she once was.
Yeah. So Sarah Nicole actually brings up something, and this is interesting because it's showing how now that we're on, like, season 3 of the Traitors and, like, many seasons internationally of the Traitors, like, people are starting to figure out the beats of the game.
Yeah.
Because now we're at, like, basically we're at the end game. There's been 3 traitors banished. Sarah Nicole says, okay, well, now it's got to be time for an ultimatum.
Right.
And I love that people are, like, recognizing the points of the game. That shows me that she studied it. She's seen the seasons. And so it seems like that's something all the house knows now and thinks, like, okay, well, I have a shield, so whatever, I can't be ultimatumed. Or, you know, I'm one of the few people that doesn't have a shield. Like, I could get killed straight up. Like, I've got to be, like, I got to think about these scenarios. And so it's interesting to see all the house thinking on that level. And there's no one who's just, like, there for the ride. I like that.
Right. If there's one traitor left at the final 9, there, like, it's going to have to be a blackmail. So that, I feel like, would have been something that they should have picked up on. But, I mean, overall, I think it was good thinking.
Yeah. And so before the conclave, before everyone leaves the manor, we see Coco kind of, like, scouting out her possibilities. One such person is Dom. She's trying to, like, recultivate a relationship with Dom. I think she's trying to play that angle of, like, since they both originally voted for Meredith instead of Venus, like, oh, we really got fooled by her, trying to, like, bring herself closer to Dom. Because I think Dom is going to be one of her potential recruitment options, right?
Yes. Well, we'll get to that now. So, as we mentioned, it's kind of like you have to blackmail now for the traitors.
Yeah, Karine explicitly says you will blackmail.
Yes.
It's not you have the option to murder, because I guess they really don't want no traitors left in the game, because that could very well happen if Coco goes out at the next table.
And I think this is a very interesting recruitment because there's so many, like, alleys that Coco can take in order to, like, alter her game for the better or for the worse. And there's some really interesting stuff about this, like how Dom is someone that she is very much looking at to recruit. However, he has a shield, which I didn't know this until the episode, but if you have a shield and you're getting blackmailed, you can use the shield to deny becoming a traitor. And
so
just
that's
go
a
back to
critical
bed.
piece of information.
Yes.
But Coco asks another clarifying question, which is, like, good thinking. I would try to do the same
Absolutely.
thing. She asks, will Dom know my identity? And Karine says no.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to happen, because blackmail ultimatums are usually face-to-face.
Yeah, maybe they just won't take their hood off, but I
But,
feel
like,
like
you
even
can
still, you can see the
tell by
body
the
shape.
build.
Like, yeah.
It must be, like, maybe Karine does it for her or
Right,
something.
like she's hidden behind a corner. I don't know. But there's another clarifying question that she asked that I think is really interesting, where she says, if Dom doesn't accept it, can I recruit someone else? And she says yes.
And so, like, how many times, if she tries Dom and he says no, and then she tries Hollywood and he says no, because I think both of them could very well both say no.
Yeah.
Like, is she just gonna go on like a? I guess those are the two people with shields.
Right.
So she would have to kill the next person after that.
I think it's a very, like, good question, but I think it doesn't come to fruition here because she doesn't seem to want to recruit Jade or Hollywood, and Dom is her top choice. She ultimately decides, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to see if Dom wants to join me, and if not, then she has some other options. Like, I think she was talking about, like, Kara.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, like I don't think she really talked about specifically, so I feel like it might just end up being Dom chooses to recruit. But
That's what I think.
like,
I
they
think
didn't really talk about the other options.
at this point, if I'm dumb, I'm like, well, if people think I'm dumb and a dope and I fell for Venus, I could use that perception of me and maybe try to go with Coco to the end with like a Hollywood.
Right.
I think that could work.
Because now he feels like he's become the most faithful.
Right. And but then people might ask, well, why isn't Dom dead now?
Yeah.
If he serves no purpose to Venus specifically and Venus is out, why are the traitors keeping him?
That's a good question, but that is also pretty good for Coco. Even though Coco wants someone that they can go to the end with,
Yeah.
Coco can still have Dom as a shield, so either ally will help her get forward.
Right. I think it's hard. It's going to be a tumultuous journey for her, but
Yeah.
she could make it to the end and she could win. And I think if she does, I wouldn't say it's the most flawless win, but it's the most like perseverance and
Right.
tenacity and like the most obstacles someone has overcome as a traitor.
I think it would be easily the most impressive
Yes.
win, because I feel like being impressive is more about your ability to overcome really hard obstacles rather than being able to breeze to the end because you were able to control everything so, like, meticulously and
like
perfectly.
everyone says Suri is a dominant win, one of the best wins because it was so dominant. As much as I love Suri, watching her season is a snooze fest because I know she's a boss and she's
Right.
working these people and dog walking them. But with Coco, I can also tell she's a boss, but she's a boss who's like, okay, I'm getting put on my back foot. I'm defensive now. I'm having to like work to build up trust with people after the Kevin thing, after the murder in plain sight. So she's facing more adversity, which makes her a stronger player in the game that she's playing.
I think with the Suri comparison, like, obviously Suri, I think, would have also done very well.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly in Coco's position. But I think because she didn't get to show that, like, we know Suri is an incredible player. We don't have to question it. We do have to question, however, like, is her win the best if someone else was able to, like, manipulate people from both the top, the bottom, the middle, like, every position so, like...
With versatility.
Right. And so, like, it wasn't effortlessly, but it was so, like, meticulously, like, she really had to work every single angle all the time.
Yeah, it's like we're judging them based on their game, not them as a player. Like, same thing with Survivor. People talk about Redemption Island. Rob's obviously a really good player. His Redemption Island game faced no pushback.
Yeah.
So they're going to say that win was among the bottom, right?
Yeah, that's, like...
Well, some people would. Some would argue, it's
no.
the most dominant win. Same thing with Surreal and Traitors. Some would say it's the best one because it's the most dominant. It's really how you look at it. It's a subjective thing.
There's a lot of nuance to it. But I think overall, like, Suri's a great player. Coco, I think, if she wins, will be one of my favorite winners because it's just so fun to watch her. And she's so, like, good at kind of, sliming out of everything. Who do you think is going to win? Like, do you have predictions of what's going to play out, or do you want to just, like, say your winner prediction or predictions?
I have, there's so many ways it could go because there's so many people left in the game and there's, 2 episodes of finale instead of 1. But I could say right now, I think there's a lot of combinations where Hollywood could win.
I absolutely agree. And I think Hollywood also has, a winner edit.
Yes.
And it doesn't feel like a losing finalist, like they get to the fire and then they lose because there's a traitor there. It feels like if they're going to get to the end, they win.
It's Hollywood, if Hollywood gets to the fire, like, cash that check in his name. But what I'm worried about is one of these few times now towards the end, if he's gonna not have a shield, he's dead.
Yeah.
Because this is what has been the thing. Like, as much as Hollywood is a good player, for, like, out of the last 6 weeks, for 4 of them or 3 of them, he's been protected in some way. 3 shields, one time where he didn't have a shield, but he was in a group with a shield. Well, like, he's been protected from murder for a while.
And he also had Venus, like, kind of as an angel, because Venus and Jade, or Hollywood, were kind of, like, they were close. They were working together.
Yeah.
It is worrying, but my prediction that I think is, I honestly think Coco can do it. And I think it would either be Coco or Jade, depending on whether the Traitors or Faithful win. I am, like, if Dom accepts it, I'm so interested to see what happens with him. I honestly don't know.
He'd be a hilarious winner.
No joke, I feel like I could see him winning too, but it would be some, like, freak win. Like, maybe he wins at the end with, like, against Jade. I could maybe see that.
Yes, because Jade does trust him. Yeah.
Jade trusts him implicitly, and maybe it's like no, I don't think. I think Jamal will get out within the next episode or 2.
Like, maybe I could see, because I do see Lisette hanging out with Jade and Dom. It could be like Lisette gets banished at 3 and Hollywood and Dom are left, or like they choose to end it there with the 3 of them. But I think if it's Lisette and Hollywood and Dom, or Coco and Hollywood and Dom, Hollywood is picking Dom. Unless we see Hollywood in a confessional at the breakfast tomorrow morning saying, Dom is acting different.
Yeah.
Or Dom isn't like this. So, which he does pick up on those things. So I don't know. I think Hollywood has a good chance as a Faithful, and I think out of the Traitors, like, whoever Coco recruits, I don't think is long for the game.
No.
So I'd say Coco as well. Yeah. Well, as we see one survivor leave the Traitors, I guess we can go over to the island for Survivor 49, episode 12. This was the final 6 round, and it was an okay episode. It was very confusing towards the end, and I'm so happy that we have more than a minute now, or 10 words to describe what happened, because we're going to need all those minutes and all those words.
Right. It was every episode I'm just, like, convinced it's like, this is a great episode for Rizzo and Savannah. This is a bad episode for everyone else.
Yeah,
but
and now even at this point, Sophi is included in everyone else.
It is genuinely kind of shocking, everything that plays out. And I think, I mean, we might as well just do, like, a very brief play-by-play.
Yeah.
So this episode, our final 6 is Steven, Christina, Sage, Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophi B.
Yeah, Sophi with an I, no E. It's everyone's rejoicing because they took down the Wicked Witch. Like, no one mourns the Wicked. I don't know why everyone hates Sophi Segretti.
I don't know. It didn't like, why was they kept saying she was the biggest threat to win, but that's just, like, not even true. I feel like Savannah, Rizzo, and Steven were all, like, ahead of her.
Right, and
she
even
just had challenge wins.
You see Savannah has immunity. Okay, try going for Rizzo. There was never, like, we don't ever see conversations of how can we flush this guy's idol?
Right.
How can we do it? No one's talking about that, and it's really making me cry. And I'm really, like, sad right now. No, and it's I don't know why they just were really gunning for Sophi. I didn't even think if she got to the end she would win a jury vote, because it seems like a lot of people weren't the biggest fans of her.
Right after the debrief from Tribal, we go kind of straight into the reward challenge.
Yeah.
Where this is actually, like, an important reward challenge, because it's, like, very close. It's the biggest reward of the season.
Tres leches cake.
Tres leches. And Savannah ends up winning as per usual.
Right.
And obviously, like, I feel like they were saying how she would want to leave one of her allies behind so that they don't strategize, but, like, they're gonna need to strategize too, so it just makes sense that Savannah would pick Rizzo and Sophi so that they would also have, like, the resources to maybe do better in the challenge.
Yeah, it's kind of like now all the cards are on the table and it's like a 3v3
There's no
all-out
reason
war.
to hide.
Yeah.
Even though they're still hiding, but, you know, we get this. The other 3 are kind of, like, they're just upset that they keep getting played, and it's so confusing to me because they're like, we need to get Savannah out, and Rizzo, they don't even question because, like you said, he somehow convinced them that his idol expired this episode instead of at the final 5. Makes no sense.
Never happened before. Like, it used to happen before the new era, but we know now it's final 5.
Yeah, it only has ever happened, I think, with the Legacy Advantage, and that was like you could only play it at like final 9 and final 6 or something like that.
So it's like, I don't know where they got this idea from. Rizzo's
I don't know
sick
why
and twisted mind.
I don't know why they would trust him because he's never been truthful to
This
them.
is like instance number 3, what now, of Rizzo playing them for fools? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times,
hey,
I need
stop
to be
that.
voted out of Survivor right now.
Right. There's this whole thing. I think the consistent through line through this episode is like it's Rizzo and Savannah, and then Steven is just kind of like suffering because like I feel like Steven had the cards to succeed, and they just kind of like kept not working, like they weren't thinking properly.
Like, regardless of if Savannah won immunity or not, he could have taken out Rizzo. Like, if he was wanting to go for Savannah and she lost immunity, they could have.
Yeah.
And then if, Savannah won immunity, which, spoiler alert, she did, they could have gone for Rizzo.
Yes.
If they just got their shit together. But apparently everyone sees Steven as a bigger threat than Rizzo, which I don't get that.
It's not that they don't see him as a bigger threat than Rizzo. They think that he can't be voted for, which is crazy because he said that 4 times. No, like he said it every single merge tribal that he's going to play his idol.
Like, if your back is up against the wall, take a Hail Mary. Like, try something.
And even if they didn't, I mean, voting out Sophi isn't the worst move because you still hold the majority. And I mean, even though Rizzo would have his idol and Savannah would have, she has been winning immunity, Steven has been the only person that could beat her so far.
Right.
And I don't understand, like, none of the other people who are left in the game except for Savannah right now have won a challenge. So it doesn't make sense that they would vote for Steven, even if they see him as a bigger threat than them to win. You can vote him out later once you get the biggest threat out because you need to beat them in the challenge.
You had numbers. If the Hinas, like Christina and Steven and even Sage and Joanna, let's say, if they had all treated Sophi Segretti better, they could have rammed this game. Like, they could have destroyed this little minority alliance. Like, they're letting the 3 of them outplay them because they don't like Sophi or because they're like, oh, I'm scared of Steven. No, like, you can get them out later. Just make sure to dismantle the power alliance that's, like, whooping you right now.
Right. And it's kind of insane. And we know, like, watching it, that Sophi had her knowledge as power, which, no matter what, she wouldn't be able to use it on Steven because his advantage had to be played before Tribal.
Dumb.
Which, yeah.
Sorry, Survivor producers, but that's dumb.
Yeah.
When has that ever been the case other than, like, Saul using his, like, safety is power thing to send to Rachel?
Power. Yeah.
Like, that never happens, and it just kind of seems like, okay, we know there's a knowledge is power in the game. Let's do something that can, like, diffuse it. Like,
it's a little weird, but I understand it. And I mean, so it doesn't work out. They still vote out Steven because, for whatever reason, Sage and Christina think Steven is a bigger threat, and they think that they can beat... Because, like, next episode, Rizzo is already immune. Savannah probably is going to win the challenge. And then they have to eat one of their own because Sophi said she was going to flip at 5. But, like, if the other 2 are immune, why would she flip? So they're just going to vote out Christina or Sage.
And I'm guessing they're going to vote out Sage.
Yeah. Sophi had talked about the potential to steal Rizzo's idol. And I think that also would have been, like, so much better.
That would have changed the tribal. I think they would have taken the shot at Rizzo had she done that.
Yeah. I think it would have made so much sense. Rizzo would have gone home, or at the very least, if they thought that Christina and Sage weren't going to vote with them, and that they, like, because Steven had his advantage, if they stole Rizzo's idol and then used it on Rizzo anyway, I mean, like that also guarantees them majority at Final 5 if Sophi wanted to stick with them. But it doesn't make sense either. She should have just like stolen the idol and gotten out Rizzo.
Yeah, if Sophi did that, let's say she steals his idol, they vote out Rizzo, and then she has an idol, she uses it at the Final 5, you're guaranteed fire making. Sophi could have won the game. She could have had a good chance to stand up against Savannah.
Even in that instance, though, like, there still leaves Steven, who, like, could beat her. Because the last few challenges are always, like, similar to the one that Steven won last episode. So it's like, there's a good chance that if you take out Rizzo here, use the idol at 5, Steven could potentially beat Savannah at the challenge, or Savannah could lose fire. Like, there's so many scenarios where if you steal this idol, you could win the game, because that is such a flashy move that the jury would eat the fuck up.
It's a Marianne taking out Ulmer at the Final 6 move. It shows that she knows where everything is. It shows that she has the knowledge, and then that knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. And it shows that she, it shows that she has one up on not only her alliance, but also the others. Like, because nobody knew she had the knowledge is power.
No, and I think the most insane, like, the best part about it is, like, if you're going after Rizzo is, like, the person who is going to appreciate that move so much. Like, you're going to earn his jury vote right then and there, and I think everyone else on the jury will also eat it up.
And I think they all like Sophi.
Yeah, they like Sophi. It doesn't seem like she's hated or anything compared to, like, Savannah or Rizzo.
And she could have definitely gotten to her ideal tribal combination with Sage and Christina, which they're all talking about this episode. Like, right. Oh, I want Sage, Christina, and Sophi at the Final 3. Sophi would have won that if she had taken Rizzo's idol. And she could have been the winner of Survivor 49. Now, she does not stand a chance.
Yeah.
Period. End of sentence.
I think...
Because she embarrassed herself.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I feel bad for her.
I think she could have been, like, one of the strongest new era... One of the strongest, like, Survivor winners, mainly new era, but, like, I think she could have been up there. Like, she's played a very good game.
She could have been like Stephanie. Like, she survived a really bad pre-merge, and then she, like, worked her way up, whatever. She could have been a successful Stephanie LaGrossa, but she had the same fate of, like, Liana, and it's really sad because I really liked her as a player, and I would just feel so, like... It just must be a horrible feeling, like, doing that in front of everyone, the jury and all that, and having it not pan out. Like, I really, like, feel bad for her and sorry for her.
Yeah.
Because that just must feel like, like, icky feeling. But, like, she survived.
I just know, like, even though I feel like if I eventually play Survivor, it will kill me to do these kinds of things, but I know I will do that. Like, I feel like my conscience would be like, oh, you can't do this, but, like, I would fully do it anyway. You have to commit. Like, you can't just half-ass it.
Oh, no,
I would be like, oh, I feel really bad. This sucks. But, like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Like Sophi said last episode, like, oh, we can make up when I'm a millionaire back in America. Like, oh, totally. Like,
yeah, you play now, apologize later.
Exactly. And so I think it would have been best for a game to steal Rizzo's idol. I get that she was friends with him, but, it's $1 million.
But I think Savannah or Rizzo have kind of locked up the $1 million. I feel like Rizzo has kind of played the better game, but I think Savannah is going to win.
I think Savannah's going to win. Like, I could see Rizzo going out in fire.
Yeah.
I could see, because, like, it just feels, I don't know.
I mean, he's not good at, like, anything
physical
challenge-related.
So they could take him out earlier, but there is no opportunity because he has his idol at 5. So he's guaranteed 4.
The most he could do, like, is they could get him out at fire.
So, yeah. And then, I mean, after that, Savannah's the next reasonable choice. I mean, we'll have an all-female Final 3. Has that happened in the new era?
No. I don't think we've even been that close. Like, have we had two women in the Final 3?
Sue and Rachel.
Yes, okay. I think that's the only instance.
5, no. 4, no. 4, yes.
Oh, yeah, 4, yeah, okay.
I forget
about
Heidi.
We haven't had 3.
We haven't had 3 since I think it was
San
Juan del Sur, and then it was One World, and then
they didn't.
Then they had Final 2s, but that's different.
So they had, like, Danny and whatever,
But no, so that would be interesting. I think, Savannah would whoop Sage and Christina. She played them. And I mean, like, I guess some people could like criticize her for being like a Rachel Lamont-esque, like, oh, you just won a bunch of immunities, but she
Right.
did do the legwork when she had immunity to like make sure that she wouldn't go home next episode. Like, I know she always said like, oh, I need this immunity, but like she could have found a way.
I think Rachel always kind of confused me a little bit because, like, I didn't really know where the threat came from, but she was good at, like, working around it. I think Savannah has consistently been on the top. Aside from the Nate boot,
Yeah.
she's been controlling everything with Rizzo. So, like, I feel like even though you can say she would have gone out if she didn't win all those immunities, she was still controlling shit. Like, I feel like even if she didn't win them, they still would have been able to maneuver around it because they've been so good at doing that.
I just think, like, from my perspective, okay, Rizzo has a lot of good qualities to his game, and Savannah has a lot of immunities. Rizzo doesn't have any immunity challenges under his belt, but Savannah is using the knowledge that Rizzo has to do well. So she's got the best of both worlds. And I'm not a person who you can win no immunities, and if you played a good game, I'll vote for you to win. But, like, he's not as well-rounded as Savannah is right now.
I think Savannah's very jack of all trades, whereas Rizzo is very, like, top-heavy. He's really strong in one category, and I think also Savannah's really good at talking, so I think she'll be a lot better at Final Tribal than he would.
Yes.
But we'll have to see.
But, yeah, we're approaching the end of both these shows next week. Next week will be our final episode of the season, or episodes, ? I don't know. Yeah, and after that, we're going to take our little break for in between seasons, and then in January, we might do a little update, what's upcoming, because we're going to be talking a little bit about, we've got Traitors UK and US on the way in the new year, as well as some other fun things. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. And then, our finale is going to be super good. Yeah. I think it's going to be a good finale for both. There's not a lot of ways that this seasons could end poorly, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. There's so much going on. Like, I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store. There's so much to just delve into. And I don't even know where to start because, like, our next week's episodes and then even looking forward to the future are, possibly Survivor 50.
Possibly.
Where there's so much. I'm so excited. And
and after the finale for Survivor, we're going to finally know who the 2 Survivor 49 players are.
Yeah.
Who do you think it's going to be? I think it's going to be
Sophi Segretti.
No, I think it's going to be Jeremiah and Sage.
Yeah.
Those were the 2 fan favorites after.
Right.
No, we really are so happy for everyone tuning in and listening. I know there's so many of you out there that we can't even count them on our fingers.
Possibly thousands.
Possibly 10, maybe not. But
we're happy to support anyway.
We're happy with each and every one of you. And so we look forward to delivering you our reality roundup next week for the finales. And yeah, this has been Reality Rangers, penultimate episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye.